Hello, and welcome to the Lullaby Beneath the Earth, an Old Gods of Appalachia actual play. I am your guide and guardian, Faye, also known as Gothic Fairy or Gothic Fairy Cosplay, and these are my lovely players. Uh, and lovely players, don't forget at the end of your intro, give us a fact about your character. I forgot to remind you about this, so let's see what you do on the fly. Starting with Haley.
Hi, I'm my name is Haley. I'm stalling because I'm trying to think about something about my character. Um, Baby is actually not as stinky as you'd think.
Mm,
Dirty, covered in mining dust, but not stinky.
compelling.
Fun fact. Also, I go by
uh,
Haley Rosie and everything. Sorry.
that's okay. Uh, then Pooja.
Hello everybody. I am Pooja. You can find me on the internet at Pooja on Blue Sky and Tumblr and the place that shall not be named and Pajabberwocky everywhere else. And a fun fact about Grommen. She has tried to write poetry before.
That's so lovely.
That's it.
Val.
Not telling you how it went or if anyone saw it or if it made it past anywhere between, the desk and the fire.
hmm It's just
Hello,
on a
everyone.
tree somewhere.
Is this ominously somewhere? That'll be funny to me.
That
But hi,
would be
everyone.
funny.
I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he him his pronouns. You can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Otso Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. Tonight I have the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite little huntress, Stag. And a fun fact about Stag, I feel like Stag whittles. Just does some whittling on the side while waiting for a quarry to come on by, or with whatever is left from her logging escapades. I think she whittles. All
I
right,
love
passing
that.
it back to you.
All right, and then lastly, Kit.
Hello, I'm Kit. You can find me at Kit Wells or Kit S Wells. Sometimes I throw the S in there when Kit Wells has been taken. And a fun fact about Nellie is that she definitely would have run like an aesthetic Tumblr blog. So like probably all one color. So either like all like I'm thinking like pink white theme. I think that would be her niche.
Oh, Nelly, you would have loved Tumblr.
Excellent. All right. And this session will include mentions of darkness, characters with compulsive behaviors, characters with difficulties eating, bugs, worms in places you wish they were not, claustrophobia, gore, including self mutilation, uses of scalpels, exhaustion, and general themes of horror and suspense, and death. As well as. Oh no, I have to scroll again. Right. This is a world where we will be telling our story, and it is in an alternate universe of 1907 in the Appalachian Mountains, specifically in South Carolina. And we are coming at this from a place of love for the culture and people of the area, and we are doing the best that we can with that, though we are not experts on the area. Now, as we start back where we ended, in a secluded mining town, Bone Ridge. As there are everywhere, loners and outcasts. Baby, a miner, and an almost child of the mines themselves, who is explosive in passion and steadfast as the mountain, but a drifter from family to family. Nellie, a young woman, the daughter of the foreman, and haunted by the creeping thoughts and rigid cheerfulness she holds for herself. Grommen, a green witch with a shifting name, living in the house which very well may have been the first house to have been built of planks and nails. with an unyielding will to match. And finally, Stag, a wanderer of the woods, a person who is self-reliant to a fault and equal parts wary and watchful of the tree for which the town is named after. And these outcasts went about their day, coming together, connecting and colliding throughout the morning. Some, like Baby, seeing their friend Leo Merton, whose Uncle Jasper had fallen in failing health and had realized too late that his friend had become quite desperate for a cure. Grommen and Nellie met that morning in the general store to a largely one-sided conversation and left amid a harried Rosemary Duncan walking in with a long list of groceries. Stag, on her morning patrol of the woods, found 4 new mounds amid the yard of the bone tree. Only one could be made out to be a soft pair of soft kid gloves. Nellie, walking back to her home in the company of Grommen, found her father's work helmet on the porch, left behind in the rush of an early morning. Nellie went to the mines herself, even though it's been years since she'd made the trip down. So it was easy, even as she met Baby outside the entrance itself. After a brief conversation, Baby went and found the foreman in the middle of trying to evaluate the direction of the new tunnel looking to be made, which would mean they'd start moving towards the roots of the bone tree. The foreman found his daughter and his helmet and invited her to stay for lunch, and Nellie got to talking with Baby, and Leo came over to join them, both though they noticed the exhaustion which hung on his shoulders and the ache in his eyes, but Nellie saw the wriggle of shadow working under his skin. Nellie and Baby, looking to find answers, turned to Grommen and made their way through the paths in the woods to their house, but Grommen already had a visitor at her door in the form of the Railroad Man, a sharp-dressed and razor-tailored man with dark, shiny hair and coal-burning black eyes, under a fashionable hat and a bright smile. He asked her if she was willing to lease her stewardship of the land to the railroad, saying that there is a lot of opportunity for expansion out this way. Grommen had their stern and clear no, and the railroad man gave his disappointed reply, but made it clear that he'd be staying in touch in the near future. By that point, Stag, Baby, and Nellie all had made their way to the house and found a place to lay their story of the mine, the worms, and something humming below the earth. As you sit at this table, the wind sort of whistles slightly off tune outside. The windows rattle only slightly. Very well made, this house, though it is old. And the chairs themselves don't even let too much of a groan as you lean your weight against them. And you tell your story about Leo. What sort of details do you point out to Grommen to tell them what is so concerning about Leo, Baby, and Nellie?
I think that the first thing that Baby would bring up would be how desperate Leo was, and the implication of what that means in this town. And the worms. I think the worms would be a pretty important one as well.
Yeah.
I think even as it drifts to other details in the story as well, Nellie pretty consistently, like whenever she talks about it, specifically says like how it seemed to enter into the skin and wriggle through, and just describing the motion, I think, every single time of the path that it was taking.
Does any of this sound familiar to Grommen?
Grommen would be familiar with some of the effects that are often the cost of making a bargain at the bone tree. Some people pay in sleep, in satisfaction in certain things, like some you've known a person to pay in being able to see in color. But this does sound like the exhaustion. That does sound like someone did pay in sleep, but this you would have heard from Stag if it was like, this is someone who has been suffering for at least weeks of the bone tree. You heard yesterday that there were 4 new mounds, but those would have been made in the last few days. This is very advanced, which makes you think that, given that these shadowy sort of worms are not normal, this might be exacerbating something.
Grommen will turn to Stag and say, "This doesn't sound normal for the
It don't
progress
sound
of
like
things."
it don't sound like a bargain to me. Would I have heard of? I spend a lot of time in these woods. I living in Appalachia, we have many rules about being out in the woods. Would I have heard anything about something that moves like that in the way that these two have described to me?
That moves like shadow, or like is like
That
small, shadowy, wormy?
is small, shadowy, wormy. Have I heard
Um,
of anything in the woods like that?
Not really. You would say that you are an expert of the woods. I
Mhm.
think that if this is something shadowy and darker than that, you would expect that maybe it's not in the woods, but so much below the woods. Maybe more doing with the mines.
Stag kind of like stands up from leaning against your like little wooden workstation and like looks at the who she would refer to as like youngins, even though we're probably approximately close in age. Uh, Stag is not that much older, and there's this kind of like knotted furrow on her forehead as she says, "Whatever this is, it's got nothing to do with the woods. It's probably something to do with the mines, and I am concerned."
I would say also the worms likely have to do with the mine. You
Hmm.
do know the effects of making a bargain. This does sound like the effects of a bargain. It
Yeah.
just sounds accelerated.
Hmm.
I think
I.
Grommen will say,
Hmm.
"The bargains and the mines might be combining in new, deadly ways."
Stag looks at you with uh with a raised eyebrow. I think that's news to them about hearing this sort like that type of connection between the mines and the tree. Um, and Stag looks back towards like Baby, who's probably like been the one speaking most about Leo, and Leo's disposition, and just murmur, "A bargain needs to be paid. Whatever price your friend paid, we know not the intricacies of it. We don't. We know not the desperation. I've seen that sometimes that desperation comes back twofold. I am uncertain if it's the tree's doing or the price that was enacted, the contract that was struck. Either way, concerning. I don't think your friend fully understood what he signed up for."
I just don't know if he understood what it would be like to be full of worms.
I
Sorry,
did
so have you
warn
seen-
him if it's the same guy.
Hmm.
I did warn him if it's the same guy, not to go making bargains, and I gave him things that could help. I told him his uncle was past what could be saved using living pure means.
I mean, he said that he tried, but it is what it is. I don't know what to say.
Attachments make poor choices sometimes. And I think Stack turns to Nelly because I think it looked like Nelly was about to pipe up and say, "You're the foreman's daughter."
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if I introduced myself properly. I'm Nelly. Hi.
Stag looks at your hand a little strangely, but does take it after a very very long pause, just staring at you, like holding your hand out like that, and I think just touches the tips of their fingers against yours, and
Oh,
then just
oh,
leaves it.
okay.
Oh, you looked like you were about to speak.
Oh, I was just curious, if you heard of these worms before because we seem to be talking as if this is, uh quid pro quo, and I'm just a bit confused. I don't know if anyone else is. This is not it seemed to be as alarming to anybody else as it is for me. And if that's on me, I can try to expand my worldview a bit more, but I what's happening?
Mm, it's not. Mm, I am concerned and alarmed. But if it's the problem is I and the elder here do not necessarily know the intricacies of what has happened with um your friend Leo. And the issue is that if it is a bargain with the tree, ultimately no one can intervene on that. The price must be paid. But if what you say is true, and Stag kind of like glances over to you, Grommen, perhaps it may be worth that I look in the mines to see myself what this blooming connection is.
Well, if I may, we've been digging closer to the tree lately, and I've been trying to stop him. I say, that's not. You shouldn't go messing with it, but it seems like that's something that they want to do. It's just a easier pathway. So maybe it has something to do with just people getting closer to the roots of the tree.
My father has spoken to the miners enough times about this sort of thing, and they're persisting nonetheless.
They're just looking for an easier route, and I understand if, they don't want anyone to get hurt, do stuff that's more complicated than it needs to be, but if it's filling everybody with worms, then we'll turn around. Like I've said.
And you see that Stag leans back against the wooden table, looks back over to Grom, and like pinches the bridge of her nose. Perhaps their digging has loosened the soil beneath the tree, Elder.
It's an interesting choice to make. To not get hurt. To go messing with things that has saved and hurt many in this town. But if digging closer to the tree were the reason for the worms, more people should have them.
Yeah,
Sorry, not to.
Leo. Nelly.
Oh, sorry, just not to interject for a second, but I was just wondering. You said that they loosen up the soil. Is that where the worms are coming from? They're just the loose in the soil, and it's just getting through the mines.
I would have to see for myself. I do not know how deeply or how rashly the miners have dug. I'll have to see for myself and see
To be
if the
fair,
soil
they
has been disturbed.
haven't gotten too far. I've been refusing to blow stuff up. I don't want to head that direction, so hopefully it's not too bad, but I mean, I can give you guys a tour, I guess,
That would be
So
if you
helpful.
want to go.
you come to a bit of a conclusion of you don't know enough. You need to
Mm.
do some investigating yourself. So over the next 1 to 2 days, what's the sort of grouping, pairing, soloing, grouping again? What's the plan? Do you guys maybe want to do?
Grommen does not want to go into the mines or near the mines, but they're not gonna let Stag go alone. So Grommen will grumble the entire time.
I can
And be
handle this
mad
myself,
about it.
Elder.
Just not even saying anything, just mumbling under her breath. I do, if we're gonna do stuff, want to activate my cipher before we go exploring.
Ooh.
But that can, once we figure out our plan, that can happen.
Yeah.
I want to know what that do, but okay.
Yeah, Grommen does it first thing in the morning. If we're gonna be like, okay, we're going tomorrow morning, that day she would activate their cipher. So, but yeah, we'll see what else what everyone else will want to do first.
Okay. So Stag and Grommen are planning on going for the mines. Baby, are you going with them? And Nellie, are you going with them? You don't have to. You can also give reason of like, well, I'm gonna go into town. I'm gonna see if anyone else has these worms.
You know what? I think Nellie will, if everyone else is going to try to find every excuse possible. And which is, the helmets don't quite fit her right, and like she would just like not look really weird, and then she'd have to bring multiple changes of clothes, and that would just be a hassle. I think instead she's going to go to town, and she's gonna talk to her dad and try to get him to just maneuver away, because maybe we just move. We just stop in that direction, he'll listen to me, and we just won't even, we can just circumnavigate it completely. Just stop the worms that way. So I think I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Or we do Nelly, or do you want me to? Okay. I think that Baby would just want to make sure that they have the okay to be bringing people into the mines, and if they don't, figure out a time in which people are not in the mines to be able to bring people in.
It might just be a bag of worms if you bring people in during the workday, but like towards the end, like not quite, like you got like an hour or so like between when the workday ends and like sunset and everything, so you got a solid hour at least to like look around, investigate, see if you can find anything.
Okay, yeah. Then pretty much just planning that, making sure that there are proper equipment for everybody to wear, and just prepping stuff while they're at work. Why are you smiling like that?
Nothing. I'm just imagining Stag in like full miner's gear, but also like hunting and bow.
Oh yeah. You give Stag a hard hat, and that's the only addition to like the entire rest of the outfit.
I'll give you guys whatever I can get away with. I don't want you dying in the mines.
Also, Grommen in a hat with like all the layers of all the everything. Funny.
Hates it, and will put a very large knitted concoction over the hard hat.
Yeah.
Because ew.
Exactly.
That is so funny.
So you are looking towards the area that you know to be the direction of the bone tree, and you can see like you are like 2-3 miles away from like being anywhere close to it, really. You know that it's a very old tree, and the roots obviously go very, very deep. No one's really seen any inclination or anything. there, but there's definitely almost like there's always condensation sort of going down the sides of the walls, things like that. And of course, puddles in the ground, but it almost feels like the puddles aren't quite water, more like mm, just darkness. Like it almost feels like when there's a pit that's deeper than you realize, and you only realize when you're about to stick your foot in. And the more you sort of go through some of these tunnels, some of these passages, the more you sort of get this sense that moving towards the darker areas might be the way to go. Now,
I think that Baby wants to let Stag and Grommen know about the stuff you might hear down here as we venture further in. So Baby goes probably not into extreme detail, almost like talking about it might make it more real and make it happen. But Baby lets you know that you might hear things and that the only people down here right now are us.
Okay.
Right.
Does it seem like these darker areas push away light? Like if we were to bring a lantern or something?
yeah, you've
towards
got
it?
like some smaller lanterns each to sort of make sure you're following the markings on the beams correctly, following every direction, because you would not want to get lost down here, obviously. And it does feel like almost thicker, like almost like there's a bit of a mist to the air, but instead of the light catching on the mist and illuminating it, it feels like the opposite, that the shadow clings to it a little bit and brings it up a little bit. I would like Grommen to roll an understanding magic.
Okay, I was gonna say, it's like,
Ooh.
how do I do that if
And-
I am trained in it?
You ease the task, so it's one difficulty less, and Faye will probably tell us how difficult it is.
Yes. So it is a level 6 intimidating, so it's now a level 5 challenging. So that's 5 times 3, so that's 15 is the DC.
And if I wanted to use... Oh, could I activate my Hagstone first? Because I would have
Yes.
done it this morning.
Yes,
just to
you
see
said
what
yes.
comes of it.
Mhm.
Alright. So I rolled a 14 on the d20, which lets me place it on the finger of another person with good intent to add 1 to the recovery rolls of both you and the wearer. So Grommen would have at some point slipped it onto Stag's like little finger. It's just a stone held with a like leather cord.
Stag like looks at you questioningly, but you probably have given them a look of like, don't ask.
Don't ask,
they
100%.
yeah.
And then do I roll the level of the Hagstone as well? Because it's a 1d6 plus 3.
Yeah, you would have rolled that before, so to know what the
Okay, so
level of
that's
the
a
center is.
5 on the d6
Okay.
plus 3, so it's an 8. It's level 8. Okay, so I just wanted to see if I got something that would help me in this specific roll. So to bring the DC down, what can I spend?
You can spend from your, I can't remember what the pool is called.
Intellect?
The like intellect, yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure.
Okay.
So
I have
you can
1
spend from the
edge
intellect.
and 17 in my pool.
Yeah.
So I can just if I spend
so
1.
If I'm remembering this correctly, you can spend from your pool, and that will ease the task. an additional step, or however many steps you want to.
Okay.
So, if I'm not mistaken, at tier 1 you can only ease it one step. There's like a
Okay.
thing you get, if I'm not mistaken. But so you have an edge in your intellect pool, which means
Mhm.
that instead of spending the 3 points you would need to ease the task one step, you only need to spend 2.
Oh, so I can reduce my pool from 17 to 15, and it'll bring the
Mhm.
difficulty from
Down 1
5 to
step.
4.
Yep.
Okay. So let me write
Mhm.
15 on. Love learning new systems with y'all.
I
Yeah.
got you, y'all. I played this game a lot.
So now the DC is 12. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I
Well, that's a
believe.
natural 20.
Ooh.
Oh, this is great.
Ramen.
We're gonna get so many
Ramen.
worms.
I get to tell you
We're gonna
things.
get some worms.
Thank you. Oh no, worms. As you move your lantern through, send just a hum down the tunnel to hear how it rings. You see the shadows shift a little bit, and you know that this isn't just. The tree isn't just some sort of artifact, some sort of being. It's a little bit of a combination of the two. You know, it's some sort of transactionary thing. And you hadn't really given much thought to why is the tree there? What sort of purpose does it actually serve the earth? And to be fair, it doesn't really serve the earth as you're looking through the shadows and looking through. And you're feeling the shift, almost the change in pressure as you're going down this sloping tunnel. And you feel your ears pop. And you can hear that little hum in the air still. That tree is transactionary. But it's transactionary in the way that it does take quite a bit, and it gives a little. That little goes a lot for the people who ask for it. But what it takes really strengthens it in keeping whatever is down here down. Something like a link in a shackle, strengthening the system.
So to clarify, the tree is keeping something else at bay almost?
Yes. Sort of like. Yeah, sort of like a shackle keeping a prisoner down.
Yeah.
Let's get
The tree is
Yeah.
not the big bad, y'all.
The
tree's
tree is
the
not the big
watchman.
bad.
thought the
I
tree
was
was gonna be the
really,
big
I
bad.
was like, man, wouldn't it be crazy if they just tried to like destroy the tree? Hope that doesn't happen. Hope I
No,
get to
Gromit
give a
would
lore drop before they
never.
try and do that.
The Alaskan bullworm.
Yes.
uh,
Yeah. And you get the sense that, natural 20. You get the sense that given that this is how the equilibrium, the ecosystem between these two things has fared for so long, you'd need to think about what new, let's call it a predator, has entered the ecosystem to disrupt something like this.
Gromit pauses where they are, and you hear a sharp intake of breath, which Stag does not hear very often. And I think Gromin's, you can't see it, but like her eyes like fully dilate as they're kind of gaining this understanding of the magic here and how they're interacting. And we'll turn back to both of them and say, whatever's down here has been kept down here by the tree. They turn to Stag and say, we've been right to be wary of the tree, but compared to whatever it's holding back, the tree might as well be sunshine.
And with that, we're
Uh-oh.
gonna shift over to Nelly.
Good luck, Nelly.
I don't know any of this.
PG.
I don't know any of this. I'm having a great day.
I'm just gonna go talk to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So when do you try and approach your dad about this? Do you think this is happening around the same time as them going in there, or
I think, yeah,
It's
why
probably-
not? Just to have
yeah,
the little.
it's probably about time that he's coming home to like get ready for dinner and everything.
Yeah, so I think I'll like run and greet him at the door and like grab his coat and like just be really, really nice and you know, like I'll have started prepping some stuff for dinner and I've started I think I'm just doing things around the house and I'm like, oh yeah, just wanted to make sure that, after forgetting your helmet and stuff, I was just really worried about you, and so I wanted to make sure that are you okay?
Right.
You seem really tired.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Mhm.
Baby ran off again. Has
Oh.
hidden every fuse.
Oh,
Um,
I'm so sorry. I think that was my fault actually. You don't have to get upset with them. That was me. They were being very nice and they were helping me escort me back.
Hey, I'll find him tomorrow. There's only so many cubby holes they can find in the mines, I hope. You had an alright day though?
I did. I made a friend and that was very nice. I made a couple
Who?
friends.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah. I've been feeling very energetic recently, and it was really great to get to go down to the mines and see the work that you're doing.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. I was pretty concerned when you first came down, but I mean, if this was much better than the last visit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that does remind me though.
Oh?
I know that there was some difficulties. That it seemed as though there was a lot of stress going on. Well, trying to go near the tree.
He's like taking a rag and is like doing his meticulous, like trying to wipe off as much mining dust as he can before like fully entering the house and everything.
Good.
And he's a little bit like shaking his head a little bit. He's like, yeah, half the men are so paranoid to even go look near that direction, but the other half aren't really looking to get anything crushed trying to go the opposite way.
Mm. Well, where are you sitting on the fence with that?
I'm looking at whatever will get the least amount of men hurt.
Mm. Well, maybe. If a mine it's underground, right? And it seems as though all the rocks are coming from above. So why not just go from above? Just start at the top and then dig down, and then you can just clear it out that way. And then there will be a nice little open area in the mines, a little bit of fresh air, and then you can just keep going in the
I
other
mean,
direction.
It's not impossible, but it might make some of those tunnels pretty unstable. I mean, at that point, you just need to start a new mine.
Is that and that's not possible, right? That's not a thing that you can.
No, I mean, new mines get started all the time, of course, but I mean, we have the town here. Just tell the men to up and go. Leave anyone who's here just left. I mean, we have plenty of families here who have members who worked in the mines, and we're lost in the mines, but I mean, it's very complicated, and I'm sorry that this has started concerning you so much.
It's Daddy, I'm gonna be very. I think one of the reasons that I went down to the mines and it started to freak me out is I've been having thoughts, and I've been thinking about things, and I don't think that it's a good idea to go near the tree. I think that there should be workaround.
All right, Nelly, I hear you. I'll take a look at the plans again. I'll see if maybe we can head a few feet forward and cut hard to the left or something.
I've been having the thoughts, and it's the kind of thoughts that they just keep going over and over again, and every time that I think that you go there now, I'm gonna keep just thinking about you getting closer to that tree, and there are sometimes bad things that happen when people go near that tree, and I don't want that happening to you, and I'm gonna start to think about things more and more. And Faye, in this, I have an ability called Community Connection. That says, when speaking to others in a community you have a strong connection to, I'm trained in persuasion and intimidation tactics about topics that directly relate to the community.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know if this is a role, but I would just like to say that I have that ability.
I think, yes, in this persuasion check, it would be like a level 4. It's difficult. So I think it would probably be eased down to just demanding. So it's a DC 9.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking if I want to ease it anymore. I think it's really spicy if it doesn't work. So I think that even if I fail, it's kind of fun.
Let it roll.
12.
Ooh. Yeah, he sets a hand on your shoulder and stands up and is still like leaning down so you're eye to eye. And he's like, "All right, Nelly, I hear you. Okay. I hear you. I'll take a look at them. I'll take a look at what the weak points were in the other direction. See where we'll be able to start over there.
Okay.
Maybe baby will finally bring the fuses back."
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Of course. I love you.
I love you.
I'll go get some of the logs out back for the minute.
Okay. I was thinking of starting dinner.
All right. Go ahead. And he goes back out, puts his coat back on for a moment. And you look on your shoulder. There's a little bit of dirt. Just a little bit. Like a smudge on your collar.
Okay. I'm going to very, very slowly, very carefully back out of the kitchen. It's on my collar. Okay. Is there anything that I can... Okay. I'm gonna try to back out of the kitchen and try to get towards the bathroom as quick as I can, or like the washroom. I need somewhere with water so I can get it wet.
You said you were getting stuff ready in the kitchen for dinner? Were you boiling water?
No, she wouldn't be near flame. She wouldn't be near a flame.
Okay. That's where, because my brain went, what's the closest water? Oh no. Okay.
Oh no.
Heard.
I mean, that is spicy. I was thinking like cut up vegetables.
Yes, okay. So you head over to the washroom. There is always a pail of water, like a pitcher of water you have ready to dump in. You dump it
just straight on. Not even
Ooh.
taking the time, just straight on.
Yeah. You dump it on. There is a small and always shrinking bar of ivory soap next to the basin, and you start also just scrubbing at the collar. After about 10 minutes, you look down. It feels like you can't see it. You don't think.
Okay.
You think probably got out.
Okay. Okay. Whew. Well, I'm gonna change, and then I will go back downstairs.
In your room, as you change, there's a small window with small little lacy curtains that you managed to get as well. And looking out as the sun is setting, and you're still calming down and a little bit chilled as you're putting on some dry clothes. Feel like there's something, maybe on the branches out there. Maybe something wrong about the shadows. You can't put your finger on it for a second, but you just look away. It's not there. There's nothing wrong over there. It's fine. But along with the wind out there, you hear, it's almost like when you were really little and you had a fever and your mom was there and she'd be humming in the kitchen. It's like hearing your mom hum in the other kitchen and know that that's where someone safe is. You hear some humming somewhere out there, and you feel like you could follow it if you tried.
Have I heard my dad come back in?
Yeah, in that time you've probably heard him come back in.
Okay. And is it dark out?
It's not quite dark. You have about half an hour until like full like sunset. It's like sun is setting, but you've still got a good half hour at least of daylight.
I think Nelly will try and fail to not go near the window and just will look out there for a second and to herself just say, they're starting early today. And I'm just gonna shut the blinds.
The humming is still there, and it's a little bit lower, but hey, it's just mom in the kitchen. It's just mama in the kitchen. And you know, without looking, it is in the direction of the mines. Okay. So, do you get through the night? I think with that we're probably gonna go to the next day. Is everybody comfortable with that?
Yeah, if we get to return for the mines fully intact, yes.
Everyone's feeling cozy?
No.
Hey, that means we
as you know.
survived, so
I'm cozy and happy. If I survive the mines, great.
That's like a Five Nights at Freddy's, like, you hit like 5 a.m. Like, oh, thank God.
All right. Stretch. All right. The next day, as you're getting up in the morning, do you all sort of, Nelly, do you try and reconnect with everyone? Where does everyone kind of meet up, or do you kind of wait towards later in the day to kind of reconvene a little bit?
Probably Grauman's house, huh?
Or actually, should I ask, is there anything anyone else wanted to do investigation-wise? Because you could also go out to the tree, look at the tree, go to the town, see if anyone's being weird, wormy, even.
yeah, Grauman would avoid the town because whatever is not their thing. But Grauman would go towards the tree and try to spend some time with it. Now, they have a deeper understanding of what the tree might be doing, at least as far as below the earth is concerned. Grommen would want to see if they get different vibes above the ground, because I think we talked about this before. As far as Grommen knows, this tree is not normal green magic, and so Grommen has never treated it like the rest of nature and has kind of kept her distance. But now, with this additional information, I think Grommen would go and would not object if somebody wanted to accompany them.
Yeah, I think Stag would accompany you for a little while, only in long enough for Stag is concerned about the quote unquote acceleration of the bargains.
Yeah.
And I think they would follow you and as you are investigating, kind of maybe join you on your investigation. But what I'm specifically looking for is the freshest tracks of someone who's made bargains recently and follow them into town and to see how they're doing.
Okay. Is anyone else going to the tree? Anyone else going to town?
Hangs out at
Baby
the
might be
tree
going into
derogatory.
town, but separate from Stag.
All right. Heard. Just trying to get a mark on where people are. Nellie, where are you? Are you going into town at all?
I
Or the
think.
tree?
Oh, she's not going near the tree. We'll do town.
Heard.
she's not.
Hey,
She's hey, no.
Oh,
Oh.
you. Grommen, as you go to the tree, you approach the circle that has this very, like, a little bit of, like, a dead air about it, but also the way the wind blows through the trees always has almost like a woodwind effect in and of itself. And of course, trying to look up at the branches too, it leaves you with like a sense of vertigo sometimes. And looking at this tree, what sort of are you trying to learn about it? Are you just trying to deeper an understanding? Are you trying to investigate anything more?
Sorry. I had a thought. My brain went empty. Could you repeat that?
No worries. What sort of are you trying to deepen your understanding of here? Are you trying to, like, just get a better handle on the tree? Are you trying to, like, figure out anything more of, like, people who have made bargains here?
I think Grommen specifically wants to know, given the transactional nature of this entity's, like everything this entity does, Grommen, I mean, and this might be too big an ask, but Grommen wants to know if they can get a sense of what their stewardship of the mines or whatever is down there, like what is the transaction there? Who's it between? Like, did somebody come and say keep whatever's down there and make a bargain with the tree that the tree accepted? So that's what Grommen wants to try to investigate, which may be too big a question to just figure out, but that's what they're going to
Hey,
focus on.
that's fair. Do you want to do understanding motivations or understanding magic?
I'm trained in understanding magic, not understanding motivation. So
I say go for understanding magic.
yeah. I think that's probably the language with which Grommen comes into the situation.
Okay.
All right.
Then I'll say it's a level 6 intimidating, so it'd be an 18. And then you lower that a step with that, so that's a 15. Do you want to do anything more to that?
Yes. So I can only bring it down one level by spending 2 points of intellect because of that one edge. So
Yeah.
I will do that, and that will bring it down to a DC
4, right? Yeah. So then that would be a 12.
12. Okay. Simon missed you die. All right. That is a 14.
Okay. So as you're like you've had a lot of experience understanding magic and you have a very good understanding of green magic. You don't have that much knowledge of like other sort of kinds of witches, as it were. But you do know that there are other kinds. There's other methods to which connecting with the world and the understanding of the world comes to different people. So as you're investigating the tree and understanding that this is not a part of the green, but this doesn't mean that it's not still a part of the ecosystem here then. That there's other parties who were involved here, other witches who likely worked to try and keep whatever this is down there long, long ago. And maybe eventually that did adapt to green magic as well, but like if green magic was also involved in this, it wasn't alone, and that's why it's not quite in the same flavor as the rest of the woods because it's sort of different evolutionary sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's where you're getting that.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Garment's not really gonna say anything about it unless it comes up. But Garmin will remember that.
Yeah. Then with my friends in town. So, Stag, remind me again, you're looking for like the freshest tracks leading back
Yeah.
from the tree to town.
Yep.
Give me a I'd call this probably hunting. I feel like it. Or is there tracking? No. But
I'm trained in navigation.
navigation? Sure,
Yeah.
I'll give you navigation. So then that's that's level 3, so it'll drop to a 2. 6.
Fantastic. I won't spend any points. I believe in me. I was right to believe in me. Okay, that's a 7.
Ooh. Okay, you
Too
get to
close
it.
for comfort.
It's been a few days. It's been but there hasn't really been any fresh snowfall, so just other meandering tracks of people who have cut through the woods,
Hmm.
other game and animals have gone through. But for the most part, there is one set that you do manage to follow pretty easily. It leads to a house not like on the edge of town, but like on the outer rim of sort of houses. And it's not in the best upkeep. You don't really recognize anyone. Like, there isn't really a lot of people around. You do see, like, after a little bit of like approaching, you do see like a little kid like run out, like a little girl in like a pinafore and like a full coat that looks like a size or two, probably too big for her, like maybe an older siblings or something. Like runs out, goes and grabs a log and like she's like 5 and she's bringing in a log that's about the size of herself. Not one of the split ones. Definitely not what was meant to be grabbed. But she does like take it the best she can up the stairs back into the house. Porch door slams. And looking into this house that has a lot of warmth inside. It looks like looking through some of the windows as you're just sort of walking past, doing a sort of circle around. You do see that there's a lot of people in there. It looks like there's lots of heads moving around. You see like steam going past in like a window and one making a meal, probably for like preparing for like an evening roast or some such. And after a bit, you do see one familiar person come out from the back door. A girl with hair in a falling out braid a little bit, and the mining jacket and mining boots pulled on as she takes out this large log and is bringing it out with an axe also in hand. And she stops as she sees you and goes, "Hello? This is the girl you saw on the path a few days ago, who asked if it was possible to take back a bargain."
Hello. Stag greets awkwardly.
"Hello, again. Um,
You returned to the tree recently.
yeah, you saw me.
I did. Why did you
You
go back?
I thought about whether or not it was worth it, and it's hard, but and she turns back to see the light still streaming through this back door, and she goes, "But it's worth it."
It's worth it. The price you have paid.
Yeah. It's tough. Tough as shit, but yeah, it's definitely worth it. I'm Rosemary. What's your name?
They call me Stag.
All right. Nice to meet you. Call me Stag. Um, do you have any more questions? I don't know.
I
I'm
did.
a,
Are paying your price. Has it worsened of late? Does it feel different? Did it change? Heavier than usual? I will
no.
not ask what price you have paid.
Hey, in for a penny, in for a pound. I paid something I thought would not really affect me too much. I guess. I mean, you can hear him in there now, and you're a big family. Uh, I know you're not very chummy with anyone in town, but my daddy died about 2 months ago, and we got a lot of mouths to feed. It's been really tough, and I thought I can bear a burden if it puts food in my sister's mouth. So I went up to the tree, buried birthday present from my dad, and now I cannot taste any food. I mean, I eat it, I put it in my mouth, I chew it, and I swallow, and I etc. But it tastes like nothing. It tastes kind of like sand, like it's nothing. And it's hard to want to eat when you can't really taste anything. But I mean, I do. A lot of people to remind me anyway. But it's difficult, and I've been handling it. But yeah, it was stressful for a bit because I wasn't sure if it had even actually worked. It'd been a day, and I went, "Oh my god, what what an asshole!" Went up and made deal with the demon tree. Wow, this will help your family. But yeah, it's been a couple days and caught more rabbits than we needed for the stew, and it's been good. It's been hard. It's been good.
There's like a sigh that I think most people might read as like a weird standoffish sigh, but really it's one of relief. And as Stag nods, it's a heavy price you've paid,
Yeah,
but to keep them fed, I understand.
thanks.
If
Under- Understanding goes a long way and all.
if you do sense a change or something amiss, Stag steps a little closer and then points to the direction where their cabin is.
Oh,
Come see
yeah,
me.
yeah.
And if your family are ever hungry, I have plenty of game.
Thank you. I don't expect we'll go hungry any sooner, but if you don't mind me pointing you in a direction of someone who might have an empty stomach, you wouldn't mind that?
Tell me.
But you say something weird, like people not acting like they really should be.
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to the doctor recently?
Not in a while. What have you noticed?
She hasn't been taking as many patients really in the last few days. People saying she's been acting a little strange. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, she lives all alone in that house, and so I just thought. I mean,
I'll go
I'll
look.
be considered nosy if I go up and start asking questions, but you deliver things.
I'll go and look. Thank you.
All right.
You and your family stay safe. Keep the doors closed at night. And you see, like, Stag is equipped with all of the items that they would have for deliveries. Notices the log that Rosemary has. Like, picks up like 3 cut up pieces that she has. Places it down on the ground by her. Stay warm. And Stag will go to the doctor. I know where the doctor is, right? I've lived. I've lived here.
Yeah, you do know where
Also,
the doctor.
Stag does not notice any terrible at reading people.
Just had like a Studio Ghibli moment of like, stay safe. Been looking for you everywhere, sweetheart.
Oh, if only Stag were charming enough to to be like Hal. Absolutely not. But yeah, I'll go and check out what the fuck is
Yeah.
up with the doctor. What the fuck?
Hey.
I found out why you have more customers recently, Grommen. Doctor's acting weird.
What is Doc Carter? Is that right?
Yeah, Dr. Carter, Dr. Quinn Carter.
Oh.
All right.
Quinn, you say?
Quinn, you say, as Grommen looks down at her feet and sees a small pocket watch buried in the ground, a little next to her foot. That has the initials QTC on the back.
Okay. Great.
Tee-hee. What was that?
Tee-hee.
Ominous tee-hee.
I think actually this is a pretty good time for a break.
Yeah.
T-fucking-hee.
A menace. A menace.
God, take us out. Hello, and welcome back to the horrors in Appalachia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that summarizes it.
We're back.
As as we last left, Stag talking with Rosemary on her back porch and getting a tip off that something's not quite right with the town doctor, actually, that she's been a bit agitated, hasn't been seeing as many people. We move over to Baby, just sort of taking a bit of a stroll, doing a just regular human things, you know?
Sure. When you
Sorry,
say
I
it like
don't
that.
know why I put it as that, but like going about your day, grabbing a few necessities, topping up on like getting a new pair of socks, such and so on. But also trying to stick around a little bit, trying to hear anything from local little groups of ladies talking as they're moving over the new produce in the area. And you're. Is there anything specifically, like, are you also looking out for, like, oh, is anybody acting weird? Are you just trying to hear any rumblings?
Baby actually kind of wanted to go find Nellie.
Alright.
I assumed Nellie lived in town, and I was wrong.
Well,
or at least closer to town.
but Nellie was planning on going to town, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So
I
Nellie,
think I think she's walking down the street from like the camera perspective, a very, very stark shift to what we saw the previous night of back to that usual kind of bubbly personality, makeup very nice and like pristinely perfect. She's wearing lavender, like a little like nice lavender lilac thing, and has a little matching bag. Again, she always has just like the biggest bag that's not fashionable but is definitely functional. Just kind of walking around.
you also just walking around, taking a bit of a walk as you like nod your head to like little pods of people around also doing their business but also loving to catch a passing gossip. um and they wave to you. You do see Baby down the lane a little bit, also just sort of like looking, um see each other and head over to each other, miming from across the square.
Hi, baby. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. Do you mind if I take you aside for a second? I just want to talk to you
Sure.
about yesterday about the stuff.
Sure.
All right.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I figure somebody has to tell Nellie
Yeah.
about kind of, I guess, what we've sensed in the mine, as there's no physical things to show you. So we assume that there's I mean, the tree's not the problem. There's something else in there that the tree's
What do you
kind of
mean?
the tree's kind of protecting, holding back, containing. So the tree's not really the problem. I mean, maybe part of it, but it was just what Gromit was able to sense down there. But Nellie, I was wondering, I mean, you don't have to bring it up, but it just kind of might seem relevant. We don't have to talk about it, go into detail, but what did you when you went down in the mines by yourself when you were a kid, you just like heard voices and stuff, right? That's all that you saw when you were down there, right? Why you won't go back?
There's an immediate shift in Nellie's demeanor. Any of that like bubbliness is kind of the anxiety I think is overtaking any facade that she's trying to kind of put up and is starting to just kind of well it's it's interesting that you would ask do you hear voices down there?
I mean, in general, kind of feels like when there's just something creepy. Sometimes when you're down there, you just start hearing stuff, but yeah, like people talking, just when you're down there alone, sort of thing. Yeah,
Um
yeah.
uh, well to be honest, no. I haven't heard anything like that. No. No whispers, no nothing. I don't remember a lot when it happened, you know, I was kind of young. But have you ever found a sense of peace down there?
Like just kind of like, because it's dark and quiet, like it's kind of relaxing.
I guess. I think I've been told that the mines tend to be really cold and can be scary, especially if you don't got a light with you.
Mm-hmm.
When I went down there, I didn't experience anything like that. It was warm and inviting.
I mean, even even like with the whispering and stuff, like the. I mean, I don't really want to judge you at all. If you enjoy the whispering of the mines, but I guess I don't know where you're coming from exactly. I'm sorry.
I didn't hear no whispers. It was more like a singing.
Oh.
The man sang to me, and well, that's pretty scary when you're told that it's supposed to be a scary place. So
Something so nice in a place that's supposed to be terrifying.
yeah,
I mean, you don't have to. We don't have to talk about it anymore. I don't want to make you uncomfortable or anything. I just wanted to know if, like, it was, I guess, relevant to what we're doing here.
there's well, maybe. I don't know. We can figure that out. But I don't know how much bringing up the past is gonna do much. I don't like to think about the past. I mostly like to focus on the present.
No worries. I don't want to make you uncomfortable or anything like that. Or we don't have to bring it up. It's not like you saw a giant worm down there or something. So.
No, I didn't see anything like that. But you were in town. Did you need help getting any errands or anything around here?
No, I think I really took care of everything.
As you're talking, out of the corner of your eye, baby, you do see Stag making a clear, like, arrow straight line through town. Like,
And
not
since
really
Stag in
making eye
town is
contact. Yeah, just
also
making a clear direction. Not making eye contact with anyone around.
Marking, like, they are marching with, like, clear purpose. It is an intimidating sight.
Baby's just gonna. You all right? Everything.
It takes you a bit to reach them, and as about the time that you reach them, because they are walking like not speed walking, but walking like at such a steady pace, and they're a fairly tall person that like
Yeah.
they've gotten to the front of the Carter practice that was first made by Dr. Carter. No, I didn't just say that.
Carter?
No.
Carter.
Charles
That's canon
Carter.
now.
First name
Carter,
Carter.
Carter.
Last name
Carter.
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 Mr.
Canon.
Carter Sauce Carter himself made a practice, which eventually went down to his daughter that he taught himself, which is now run by Dr. Quinn Theodora Carter. You're standing in front. I'm
Just thinking about Carter.
just absolutely kills the tension.
Deep in the Carter.
I'm a Carter truther, actually.
I wouldn't trade Carter for anything though.
So true. You're standing in front of the practice, just as Baby reaches you.
Oh. Baby. Hello.
And Nelly. Nelly, you're there too.
I just
Oh.
want to make sure everything's
Hello.
all right. It's like, are you
Mm,
sick or?
well, I tracked some prints from the tree of who might have made a bargain recently, and
Wait, you made a
they're. I didn't. I would not.
Oh, okay. That's why I was confused. All right, sorry.
No.
Okay.
I would not make a bargain with the tree. But I met with someone who had made a bargain recently, and they told me that the doctor has been behaving strangely, which is why I'm here. The previous person is all right.
Oh.
It seems the bargain worked as intended.
No.
Not as far as they can tell.
All right. So I guess we're just following up with everyone who's made a deal recently then?
Just the doctor for now, because she's been acting strangely. And I think, like, as Stag is looking directly at you, Baby, and at Nelly, reaches out her fist and, like, knocks at the door.
That's so sad.
You hear a rustling about and like clear like tussling inside almost until like you finally hear someone at the door going, "Hello, what?"
It is Stag. You have not requested your deliveries in some time.
They come on Thursdays. It's Wednesday. What day is it?
Doctor, you sound mighty agitated. Do you need help?
It's so loud in here. She opens the door and she's like she's like fairly put together of like at least hair back, like blouse over corset over long walking skirt, like at least put together even in just like meeting patients when she's not like doing surgery or anything. But here her hair, which is streaked with silver, her eyes, which are tired and bloodshot, are looking around, and she is looking in your faces. She's clearly searching for something on you. She backs back into the room. She goes, "Okay. He's not out here?"
Who do you speak of?
That man came to my door asking to buy my practice, buy me out, and I talked with him a bit. I knew I smelled something bad on him. Something. God, it's loud in here. And she's backs back into the room, goes, "God, I can't. Somewhere around here, I can hear it. God!" And she like goes into a side room, clearly not even worried. Her door's open. You standing out.
Stag steps in.
Yeah.
Stag just straight
Oh,
up walks in, no hesitation whatsoever.
you
Um, what else does the doctor do?
uh you stepping in see that there's like portraits that are like hanging askew on the hallway. Is like wallpaper on the wall that's been put in there like in the last year or so, torn in shreds in places. There's uh like a cabinet that you can hear being smashed in the next room, and you go and see the room that she's gone in. She is holding like what looks to be like a mallet, like maybe for like setting knees almost, and she's like
Mhm.
smashed the cupboard and she's looking in. She goes, not in here, I know I saw it, I know I saw it. It's not, it keeps on moving, it keeps on wriggling. Oh my god, it's gonna get me.
At that, Nellie's gonna kind of step up and not touching near the hands or not doing anything, but kind of just puts her hands in like a framing motion and says, "Hey, hey, just look, just focus on me for a second. What keeps moving? Maybe we can help you find it."
You can hear it, don't you? You can hear it, and she puts her hands on either side of your face now, and she goes,
She's touching me. Okay.
yeah. It just tugs on the soul. It can't get out of your head. It's like a tune. And she's calling out, and I wanna go. And it's not just a worm, it's the hook too. It's pulling and it's reeling, and God, I'm like a fish, and it's, oh my God. Oh, it's like a hook. It's in you, isn't it? It's in you. It's not in you. It's in me. It's in me, isn't it? And she takes a hand away from your face and she takes a scalpel off of the table.
Is it? Hey,
Can
it's it. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Or do you want to do something in this moment?
I
Baby
think
wants to pull Nelly
Baby
away.
should act.
I
Baby
want
should
to pull
act first.
Nelly. Like,
Okay.
because I'm scared
gonna
that
say-
she's gonna
Yes.
hurt Nelly.
Nelly.
What Nellie's gonna do? You're talking about the humming, and I'm gonna try to get her to stop. I'm gonna try to use. No, it's barely bothering you, huh? How long have you been hearing it?
It's been a few days. It's been a few.
A few days.
I haven't been sleeping. It hasn't let me sleep. It wasn't so bad the first 2 nights. It was just going on a few hours, but now I haven't. It's been days. I haven't slept. I haven't rested. It's been too loud. It's been calling. It's been calling me.
It's like a ringing
Where-
in the ears, or
God, it's like a song on the wind. It's humming in the next room. It's
Where's it calling you
down
to?
there. It's in the mines. Wants me to go to the mines. Says I'll rest there in the mines. God, it sounds nice.
Mm.
She's
Wow.
still got the scalpel in her hand.
mm-hmm.
She's not moving right now.
Okay. I've got another ability called Bewitch that I'm gonna try to be using if you guys
Ooh.
want to start doing shit. So as long as I do nothing but speak, the creature that or the thing that I'm talking to can take no actions other than to defend itself over multiple rounds. So
Mhm.
I'm just gonna start speaking to her and being like, you know, the mines are. I went to the mines once when I was younger. Do you remember my daddy is the foreman there? And I remember. Have you ever been to the mines? Yeah.
Baby's gonna lean over to Stag.
Mhm.
I think you might need to take that away from her. I don't want to get in a wrestling match with somebody. You
And
might.
Stag just nods silently, walks around the doctor as the doctor is focused on Nelly, and she gently goes to her hand and touching the blade, not her hand, not trying to pry her hand open, just as her grip slackens, attempt to just pull the scalpel away and then pocket it. I'm not letting it stay here.
She's like just staring eye to eye with Nelly and just going, it's still calling me. I can feel it under my skin.
We ought to bring her to Chanterelle.
Where
Um,
are you? Oh.
Stag pipes up quietly, not trying to intervene to Nelly, but to Baby specifically, and just says, "We ought to bring her to Chanterelle."
Where's it?
The Elder, her cabin.
Is that her name?
It's
I
the
guess.
name she
Oh, I
gave
guess
me.
I do know.
Cherry.
I guess I do know her name now. Never mind. In my head, she's still Cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be for the best. How do we do that? Freaking out though.
Stag looks over to Nelly. We should bring her to our friend.
Can you show where are you feeling it on your skin right now? You don't have to point, you don't have to do nothing. It's okay. We have a friend who might be able to help.
It's in my leg, my arm, and she looks to the arm that's on, like the arm that is attached to the hand.
That's touching me?
That's touching your face.
All right. I'm gonna ask you now very nicely to stop touching me and to stop. Everything's fine, but I don't want to feel something on my skin. Thank you. And we're gonna go slowly and carefully, and we're gonna go talk to our friend who's gonna be able to help you, all right?
Will I rest?
Yes. We will help you to rest.
Will it be quiet?
I promise I'll try to contain my speaking as best I can. We'll make it quiet.
Okay. And she's she tightens one hand and then she's tightening the other hand. Did you get the scalpel out of her hand? Do you think you managed to?
I think I did, and
then
Stag would have pocketed it.
Yeah. Then she suddenly looks to the hand that had it and she goes, "I lost it."
Here, and I'm gonna pull out a pocket watch and I'm gonna say, why don't you fiddle with this? It'll help keep your mind off of.
Oh, haven't been able to keep time. God, what a silly thing to plant in the ear. And she puts it in her pocket of her waistcoat and is instantly just fiddling with the chain. So you try to lead her towards Grauman?
I will lead them the expeditious route, which might require us to walk through bits of woods, because I am not risking this woman being left alone for too long.
Or even getting a little too close to the mines. Am I right?
Trying not to get too close.
As we're walking, I'm just gonna turn to Baby really quick and be like, Baby, I need you to be real honest with me right now. Is there anything on my face? Is there anything wriggling?
I'm gonna look. Is there?
Give me a perception check.
That should be. It should be really a no. It should really be a no and not a give me
a
a roll.
binary question.
All right. If you're not looking,
No, I'm looking.
You're
Okay,
looking?
alright.
I'm
Yeah,
looking.
I'm looking.
Hey,
I'm
hey, sick
looking.
nasty. Okay. That's difficulty 4. So that'll be a 12. Do you have anything to lessen it?
Yeah, I've got points.
You've got
I
points.
So I
also
can
Do
have
you
only
have
make
another
any?
it.
thing that I can do if you want.
Oh,
I would love. I need to
I
know.
I love that I'm just taking all my
Actually, it's
abilities. I'm like, yes, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, listen, I won't be upset whichever way you do, but I just need to make sure, take your time, make sure that you've got that. And I'm gonna do encouragement. I'm trained in perception checks. So this means that I can kind of use basic, like, kind of bardic inspiration. I can, like, make a small thing to inspire someone to ease a task related to any skill I'm trained or specialized in. So I'm going to ease
Excellent.
that by 1.
So that eases it by 1, so that's 3, so it'll be DC 9 now.
Can I use one of my points to ease it by 1?
I
Or is that-
believe so.
Let's do that.
I'll say yes. So that'll be a
Uh,
DC
Do you have?
6.
Do we have to use 3 points to use it by 1, or do you use 1 point to use it by 1?
I think 3 points to ease it by 1.
yes, it's 3 It's 3 points to ease it by 1, unless you have an edge in the specific pool, which this would probably be intellect. So unless you have an edge in intellect, you'll have to spend 3 points.
Yep, I have no edge. I'll use 3.
No,
All right.
Okay, so it's a
Edge.
6.
Smart.
So it's a 6.
I believe
12.
12.
12.
There's nothing.
And there's
There is
God.
nothing. But it's important that you know that.
It's really important I know this. Nelly, I don't see anything. There's nothing.
Okay.
You're alright. And if there is something later, I'll let you know, okay?
Okay.
You manage to find the doctor's coat on a coat rack still standing somehow. And you sort of just shuffle it on her shoulders to also just kind of keep her hands a little bit low and to herself, still fiddling with her watch chain as you walk her up to Grauman's house. It doesn't take too long. She's still muttering as she goes of like, oh, and like turning back suddenly, shifting at any noise in the woods. She isn't much of a person who walks out of town as often as others here, but she walks well enough. She gets to the door of the house. I think Grauman might be getting back from the tree about this same time to see this harried looking person that you, after a second, recognize as the doctor, who at times has like come to get tea from you and get different herbs that she just doesn't have access to or doesn't have the expertise to forage herself. And you don't recognize the woman that she is right now, who is so scared.
I think Stag was about to knock on the door and then sees Grauman approaching, and then like meets you halfway on the way towards the cabin, and it's just like, the doctor is in dire need of your intervention. I think she is experiencing something similar to Leo. She's drawn to the mind, and like Stag just communicates everything. She's drawn to the minds. She's filled with some sort of paranoia.
She made a deal. I saw what she left. But I didn't realize it could get exacerbated outside the mines. Let's go inside. And Grauman rush up to open the cabin and bring everybody inside.
Come, Dr. Carter.
She comes in and she's shivering, but you don't think it has all that much to do with the cold. And she sits still sort of like shuddering and like looking around at the corners, frightened, looking for something that might be there, might not, as well as just like scratching at her arm and then changing to her leg and then moving back to fiddle with her watch chain.
Could Grommen would want to immediately examine her, and could I use Grommen's special ability, which is to see the unseen, just to see if there are, which allows Grommen to automatically perceive creatures and objects that are normally invisible, insubstantial, or hidden via magic.
You look around your room, and as always, you've warded your house to hell and back, proverbially. But looking at Dr. Carter as she's now shed her coat and is just standing, not standing, sitting, looking very harried. And as you're seeing where she is scratching at her arm, you see that there is something wound all the way around her forearm, snaking towards her hand. It's looking, you've heard people describe it as worms. This is, you'd probably say the same, like, width as a worm, but the length seems almost like a snake now. But it's wound its way around her arm, and you're seeing the skin ripple as she's scratching it, and you're seeing this sort of undulating as she moves over it with every pass, and you can see that it's there, and you can likely see that that would be the same on her leg.
As someone who's trained in understanding and in using magic, does Grommen think that this is solvable or something she can help the doctor out of?
Yeah. Understanding magic. Give me, it's a level 5, so it'll be a 15.
And you're trained, I believe.
I am trained, so that brings
So it'll
it
go down to a 4.
That brings it down to a 4.
Okay.
You can spend points if you like.
I'm gonna save points for in case I try to take an action.
In case something happens.
Yeah. This is an 18.
Okay. You didn't hear her saying this earlier, but she was describing it like it's not just the worm, it's the hook, it's reeling her in. If this is a hook in the flesh, you can take out a hook. It'll be painful.
Okay.
But it is possible.
Okay. Then Grommen is gonna get to work and try to unlatch this thing.
Yeah, you get to making sort of like a numbing paste almost, and spreading it on her arm. And as you're doing this, she starts muttering medical properties to herself, trying to guess the herbs, and almost like getting almost a dialogue between you of like, it almost turns into a conversation of like, oh, did you use this? Wait, you used this with that combination? And then thistle.
Yeah. And as a part of this, I don't know if it will come into play, but has a special ability, Charmed Touch. It says 1 intellect point, which I guess it means I have to spend an intellect point to use it. Which, with a touch and words, I can restore 1d6 points to 1 stat pool of any creature. This ability is a difficult 2 intellect task. So, I don't know if
I say if you
missing stat pool.
I feel like saying that you use this like helps give her a bit more of clarity now that like you put on this numbing sort of salve and are like slowly like explaining little things to her. It's pulling her out of this sort of exhausted state that's been clearly just staying awake for several days, and she's a bit more aware of herself and where she is now, and starts talking with you more. Okay. All right. So, are you going to try and take this out surgically? Or are we going to try something else medically? I don't see any whiskey bottles in here, and I would wish there was.
Grommen is going to point Baby to a couple of bottles in the corner of the shack where there's essentially fermented tea, because Grommen doesn't like regular tea, but will boozify him. Kombucha style. It's
Oh
kind
my
of a
lord.
old school
It's a-
hard kombucha.
It says on the bottle, twisted teas.
The only tea's worth drinking. But Grumman also
Yeah.
says what happened here wasn't medical, but we can get you something.
Okay. Honestly, do what you have to do. I think I was also in the state where I was gonna try and get it out. I'll show you the one on my leg. And she's like, because she's seeing that you are seeing this, Grom, and like knows where you're looking. Doesn't know if anyone else can see this. You can't really. Except for maybe Nellie sees the slight underline of thing. But you looking on her leg, it doesn't look like it is like wound around the same way on her as it is on her arm. It looks like it's just wound one loop around, and it almost looks like it's like circling, like chasing its tail, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the one on her leg might be easier to get out first to see if that does work, but
Yeah. Grommen will tell the rest of the gang, I don't know what this is gonna go like, so y'all might want some of that tea too.
Stag is pulled without any permission from you. Pulled a wooden chair and has like reversed it and is sitting it in a way that I can only describe as extremely butch way.
I knew exactly what you're gonna say. I'm so psyched. I'm so psyched right now.
And it's just like leaning forward and kind of like removes her quiver strap and is just holding it close by, just in case we need to either like hold her down during the procedure or if she needs to bite something during the procedure.
she's like seeing you do that and goes, oh, much obliged, and just bites down hard on the leather.
Great.
All right, let's
okay
try to unhook this
Can I
legworm. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I want to hold the non-worm hand half as a well, I did want to specify the non-worm hand.
So fair.
Holding the hand, not just as like a support, but also if she starts getting anxious, I don't want both of her hands free.
It's true.
Very smart.
Okay.
So
Very smart.
I will hold her non-worm hand as I take a drink of our twisted teas.
Will you hold my non-worm hand?
Would
You
hold my
love me if I
non-worm
had a
hand?
non-worm hand.
Would
Nellie's
you love
taking
me
like
if I was
3
filled with
steps
nerves?
back.
Nellie's like, I will not love that worm hand at all.
Nellie says, no.
Sorry,
but no.
girly. Hate to see you going through it. I'll be with you in recovery.
Would you be there for me if I was going through something? No, absolutely not.
I don't know you like that,
But
girl.
I wouldn't love you during it. I'd get with drinks with you after. I've been looking through the skills trying to see if there was any sort of surgery. I'm just gonna give it down to a straight up perception or navigation for you, Grauman. And anyone can help out.
Perception.
Like, everyone's helping pretty well throughout all this. I was gonna have it at a 7 for formidable, which is a 21. So I'll already bring that down one level to a 6, so it's an 18. So
Okay.
if you guys want to work anything more to that.
Grauman is trained in perception.
Mm-hmm. So that brings it down to a 5, so 15.
Grauman, I think Grauman has Grauman figured out that Nelly can see things. Well, yeah, because Nelly and Baby explained the worms yesterday, and so Grauman is going to tell the group who can see a little bit of what's going on, if they can see what's going on, to just be a backup set of eyes in case something starts happening while Grauman's focused on the leg. If the arm starts doing things like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
I have nothing else to be able to help you. I'm so sorry.
I know, I was looking. I can only do something if something bad does happen, not something bad might
And my
happen.
cipher is so unhelpful in this particular circumstances. It would be useful at some point, just not right now.
I don't know. Do you think that? No, I don't think the charm touch would help. All right, I think I just gotta roll.
You can reduce it physically with the
Oh, right,
points.
I can.
You have an edge.
Correct. Yes.
All right.
If it
So
goes,
then
if it
that'll
goes bad, I
down
have
to a
stuff.
12. Mhm.
Okay.
It's down to a
at some point-
12.
Okay, I gotta figure out how to get these points back at some point.
Recovery rolls.
Throwing them around.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. 12. Wait, is it a 12?
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's a 12.
Mhm.
Okay. Whew, it's a 14.
Ooh. All right, you
Yikes.
go to town on the one in her leg, and
What is happening? What is Grauman doing to
Grauman
the
doesn't
shadow monster?
You have the scalpel actually from before. And you very carefully do a small incision. You have almost a pair of tong-like tweezers that you slowly take it out, and you see as it gets all the way out, and you have it, and you actually have a bottle of some poorly made alcohol-ish like tea. And you
At
put
this point, we might have finished the bottle that the tea was in, so it's just
True.
going right in there.
you you have the tongs in one hand, you have the jug in the other. Put the
Finish
worm in the
this.
jug. Put the worm in the jug. You cork it, and you see as it struggles and shifts and twists, still like a dark, thin snake. And I think with that adding of the edge too, and seeing how it moves, you realize something in this moment.
no.
As you look down on her other arm, and she's like very she's like just gone through this full stress, she's like slackened a little bit, and you have her one arm held, the non-worm arm. You do see her other arm like stretched out and like very stiff for a moment, and you see that it did raise up and go in the direction of Nelly, and as it like untensed again. And you look at the jug again, and it's writhing and moving in the direction of Nelly. And you think back have you seen any worms try and go towards anyone who hasn't made a bargain? And I think that's where we're gonna
Nelly.
end tonight.
Fuck off! No.
Nelly!
No.
Hey, what was the first thing that you found buried?
A pair of kid
Well,
gloves. I was
as
like,
soon as it kid
"Whoopsie."
gloves, I was like, it can't be Nelly. She's not that kind of girl.
Nelly wouldn't do that.
She's got her gloves on. That's crazy. A girl can
Yeah,
have.
That's actually
exactly.
exactly
How
what
many
I was like.
pairs does a
She's already
girl
got gloves.
She has
And
her
that's like,
gloves.
How many pair? Yeah. I mean, in this time period, what? Are
They're
we
well
rich?
worn.
2 pairs?
They're well worn
She's
gloves that she's wearing.
She's glove rich.
She's glove
Friendship
rich.
with Nelly ended.
Listen. Okay.
Mm.
I was so excited. First session 0, I was like, do you want to make a bargain with the bone tree? And Kit took me up and I was like, I'm not gonna offer anyone else. We've already got one person with a bargain with the bone tree. I don't think anyone else is gonna make a bargain with the bone tree.
Fuck no.
No, why would we do that?
No.
All right.
Yeah,
I know
truly.
better.
Now,
Desperate
Nelly,
times.
oh, what's happening? What's the magic, basically?
If you hadn't cut us off, I was about to go accuse Nelly anyways. So you
Yeah,
know it works
you-
out.
Hey,
You know it works out anyway.
Nelly's a liar, guys.
Yeah,
But
Grom's
Nelly,
got
I
a big ol'
trusted you.
what have you done in her. Waiting.
Am I the drama? Is
But
it
she runs a
me?
Tumblr blog. I thought I could
She
trust
runs an
her.
aesthetic. She's coquette.
She's Coco. Could I not?
Well,
Stag will
this
just
is-
look at you disappointingly.
Come back next week for the supplemental.
Supplemental. I'm in
Supplemental.
the mines.
This was our supplemental.
I'm full of
Supplemental.
worms.
Supplemental. Friendship with Nelly ended.
Thank you for
Amazing.
coming
I was
to
rooting for you.
Lullaby. Lullaby beneath the earth. Doug, we're full of worms here. I'm Faye, Gothic Fairy or Gothic Fairy cosplay. I'm gonna go reverse this way and say, hey Kit, you go first.
Hey, I'm Kit. And I play Nelly, and you can find me at Kit S. Wells or Kit Wells. Hope you have
And
fun.
then now,
Hi everyone, my name is Valiant Doran. I use him his pronouns. You can find me all on the internet, Valiant Doran, or at Otto Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight I had the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite butch lesbian stag who uses she, they pronouns. And yeah, check me out on my socials, and you can see me on Saturday on Transparent RPG, where we're back with more Chaos Protocol. Passing it back to Faye.
passing it back to Pooja.
Hello, everybody. I've been Pooja. You can find me on the internet at Pooja in the places I got there early enough, and Pajabberwocky everywhere else. Everything's gonna be fine.
You heard it here first. And Haley.
Hi, I'm Haley. I go by Haley Rosie on everything. My pronouns are they, she, and I'm so pissed. Our friends are, now my friends are full of worms. I just thought other people were
Maybe
full
the
of
worms were the friends we made along the way.
I am not filled with worms. I am decidedly
the
wormless.
only reason I am mad is because the potential of Nelly getting to make out with anybody in the crew has gone down.
Gone down exponentially.
Exponentially
I know,
Damn it.
that's
reduced.
Hey Faye,
Heartbreaking
can
for
we
us.
can we
We need to retcon some stuff.
We need to retcon some things.
Okay, I'm hearing we need to deworm Nelly. Okay?
Get that deworming pill. Let's go.
I'm Faye,
I'll
she,
remember.
they, I forgot to say. And we've been hosted by the wonderful and immaculate Madaloon, who you can't actually hear her voice. That's just for us because she's the voice of God. And she's been doing tech for this session, and this is her channel. Oh my gosh, she's in the chat. Who could have guessed? Ooh. And thank you for coming. We'll be here again next Thursday. What? Bye.